Good morning. It's really lovely to gather with you in this time. We're meditating together in time, if not in the same immediate shared space. I'm really happy that you're taking this time to really touch into your practice. And to touch into the sense of practicing with others together in community. I think it's so important at this time to really nourish ourselves with practice. I want to, before I begin, I really want to talk for just a minute about the work that True North Insight has been putting into providing these sessions. It's been I've been so impressed by I'll just say some of the people, Muriel and Patricia and Bibiana and Dawn and Roxanne really have put a lot of energy and effort into putting together a schedule of teaching so that we have both French and English and teachings every day at different times through the day to support people. So it's it really makes me feel good and nourishes my heart to see this effort of goodwill and kindness. So thank you for participating, and your presence here also is an important contribution, not only for yourself, but for others with whom you're joining in community. I'd like to just say a little bit about, before we begin the actual practice of meditation, about how important it is to take care of ourselves. It's if we're listening to the news and just it just seems it's nonstop about the pandemic, and of course I understand why, because it really is important to maintain vigilance and diligence in keeping distancing and hygienic measures and so on. But it can be, can ratchet up the fear and anxiety. So some kind of balanced and realistic concern is actually very appropriate and useful. But it doesn't mean that we can't also at the same time, without in any way contradicting that concern, that we can nourish ourselves and tune into what is good and what is beautiful and what is joyful in our lives, and really enjoy meditation practice, music, art, dancing, beauty. All of these things are nourishing, and friendship, very much so. Especially those friends that we feel really care about us, because feeling cared for is so important in this time, and that we also can give that to others, that we know that we can give to others that sense of being cared for. It's really such an interesting thing how this coronavirus is an experience of interdependence, an experience of our non-separation from all beings. So we can take the good of that, and really that can deepen our wisdom and deepen our compassion, and enliven us and activate us in good ways. So, so let's begin with settling into some meditation and coming right now to feel the body. Coming right now to arrive in this space that we're taking this time, making sacred space to practice, to be present in ourselves, to nourish our hearts for our own benefit and the benefit of others. You might begin by taking just a deep breath or a few deep breaths. And notice how, especially on the out breath, the whole body can relax and you can let go of anxiety and tension that you might be holding. And when you feel ready, just letting the breath rise and fall naturally. And bringing your attention, your mindfulness into the whole body. So mindfulness is this quality of attention in which we are aware, present, not judging, not resisting, not getting caught in preference. So we may open to feelings of anxiety. We may open to feelings of anger or frustration. That we're holding in the body as energy. So that's okay. We can just allow that to be there and give it space. And in doing that, we can just allow it to follow its own nature, which is, as all things, to rise and arise and pass away. By allowing it to be received mindfully, we can let go of it. We can stop holding on to it by continual thinking or contracting in the body. So feeling the body and feeling the body supported by the earth. And we can open to a recognition that in this moment, we're okay. In this moment, we're here, wherever we're sitting, we're safe. We have a space. We have what we need for life. We have human connection. And so just, I invite you to take in the okayness, the feeling of all rightness of this moment. That doesn't mean that we are disconnecting from the world around us, but we are simply arriving in a sense of presence and balance. So I invite you to see how this unfolds for you. Maybe noticing where there's contraction in the body, if there is. And breathing into that place and inviting it to release at least a little bit. If your thoughts are very active or there's a lot of restless energy, you can perhaps bring attention to the breath and let your attention to the breath gather in the scattered energies of the mind. We might find that the body for you is an anchor, just feeling the feet, the hands, the places of contact with the earth are grounding for you. Hands resting on the thighs or folded in the lap. And the feeling of your bottom on your bench or cushion or chair. Your feet on the floor. Bringing an uprightness to the posture if you're sitting, or a straightness to the body if you're lying down or standing. Notice the rhythm of the breath. Has it become a bit more slow, a bit perhaps the quality a bit more soft? Notice if that's what's happening, or maybe there's a lengthening to the breath. Maybe there's an intentional breathing and breathing out, letting go of tension in the out breath. Whatever it is, however it's manifesting, just notice how it is with interest, with kindness, with care and acceptance. If your attention is focused quite precisely or narrowly on the breath, if you want to continue with that, that's fine. But I'd like to invite you to explore, if you like, opening up your attention, expanding your attention to include the whole body, a sense of the whole body. And the breath might be still felt in the body, or you might just be aware of it rising and falling in the background or on the periphery. But opening up to a sense of the whole body in whatever posture you are, sitting, standing, lying down. Do you notice a sense of just pleasantness, of being present in this moment, in the simplicity of just present in this moment? In the discourse on mindfulness of breathing, the Buddha teaches that just allowing the body to become more calm and feeling the whole body, we can arrive, or there can be an arising of a quality of joy. It can be very subtle. It can be simple contentment, or a quality of acceptance. Just a pleasant feeling tone of the present moment, being fully present in the moment, even if it's just a breath or a half breath. So the Buddha taught that when we do experience these beautiful qualities of joy and happiness, contentment, which arise from our practice, arise from letting go of anxiety and anger and grasping and just being fully mindfully present, that it's really helpful to take it in, to take in this goodness arising from practice. That let it nourish our hearts, let it nourish our spiritual practice. And it's even encouraged to not to try to make something happen, but to notice, to inquire. Oh, is there a kind of a pleasant feeling arising in this moment of practice? A feeling of wholeness. If you find that thoughts are coming up, just notice the thoughts. You can just be aware of them, feeling grounded in the body, present in the body. And you don't need to get hooked by them. And if you do get hooked by them, that's okay. You can just let them go and come back to the body. And just with a sense of, not now. This is time to come home to myself, to nourish my practice, to nourish my heart. find that your mind is going into fear or anxiety, come back to that sense of, in this moment, I'm okay, I'm safe. And then open to the whole body, feeling the whole body sitting, breathing, resting in that. So for the last few minutes of this meditation, I'd like to offer a bit of guiding, kind of bit imaginative, using a sense of the body, um, presence in the body, tuning into the body, to evoke kindness, love, friendship for ourselves and others. So still maintaining a sense of the body, presence in the body, and aware of the shape of the body as it's configured. The proprioception is the capacity to just sense the body's position. So using proprioception and interoception, the interior sense of the body. Just feel the body and feel a sense of the body as not being kind of sharply delineated as separate, but aware of the porous nature, the open, that our bodies are open systems. And so as you have a sense of the body, just a sense of the edges of the body being soft, kind of porous, open. So not having a hard edge like a wooden cube, but the aliveness of the body, giving it a kind of a soft edge. And a sense of Just breathing through the whole body, breathing through the nostrils, of course, but also the whole body breathing, the whole surface of the body breathing. And feeling the energetic presence in the body, the quality of that. Noticing if there are places in the body where there feels to be a sense of ease or well-being. Might be a particular place in the body, maybe in the upper chest, or maybe in the arms. It feels pleasant. Do you notice anything, any place in the body where there's a sense of all rightness, goodness, ease? And let the attention rest there if you do find such a place. And if not, then just be present with a sense of the body, with kindness, with presence, with compassion, giving space for whatever is manifesting. And now I'm going to invite you to play a little bit with the breath, having a sense that, of course, we're breathing air from outside, but just imagine that the breath is sourcing from the heart, that as you breathe in, you're actually breathing from the heart, and as you breathe out, you're breathing out from the heart. And inviting to discover if there is a sense of kindness, love, friendship, that you can connect with in the heart. And breathing that through the body. As you breathe in, sourcing that kindness, that love, that friendship. And as you breathe out, sourcing the body, or resourcing the body with goodwill, well-being. And perhaps on the out breath, as you fill your body, also extend, allowing that love, that metta, that friendship, that goodwill, that caring for the well-being of others, to extend outward in widening circles to all beings. Allowing that that inner core of goodness, of kindness, to fill you with well-being and extend outward in widening circles for the benefit of all. And as we conclude the formal part of this practice, let's dedicate the goodness of our practice and our lives, that it may serve the well-being, the safety, the happiness, and liberation of all beings. Thank you for participating in that practice. I just like to share a few thoughts, and then I'd like to invite, if you have any questions about anything that you've experienced in the practice today, or what I've talked about, or anything else that you'd like to bring to this discussion about mindfulness and practice. I'm really, it's been very much on my mind in these past weeks, how we are, the truth of our interconnection, the truth of our interdependence is just so prominent, and it's really coming through in the way that we understand that we need to take responsibility and care for ourselves, for the benefit of others. It's there is a kind of consciousness, I think, that is maybe it's something, I think there's something emerging which has the potential to connect us to enlarge our vision and our consciousness of our that we are a global community, that we are just a very interconnected life form, that we have our sense of separateness, although that's our bodies are really open systems, as the meditation pointed to. We breathe, we drink, we eat, we release from our bodies, in breathing and defecating and urinating, and water flows through, in and out. So we're open systems, and we take in bacteria and viruses as well into our bodies, and we have, of course, immune systems to respond to that. But we find in some ways that we are vulnerable, and so opening to this quality of interconnectedness and interdependence that is so present. And I think that as this emerges, as we keep responding and keep seeing how the pandemic is unfolding, we have, I think, in a way, we have an opportunity to really, by staying connected to our practice, staying connected to our heart, staying connected to that core of kindness and goodness that is innate within us, we have this opportunity to say, what will I contribute in this unfolding set of conditions, this unfolding event that is happening, that I'm part of. And we see that some people are overtaken by fear and kind of close in and close ranks, and other people are really in very generous ways, in very beautiful ways, reaching out and caring for others. So I think that there's a way of finding balance, and part of the balance that we need to find is ways that we can nourish ourselves, touch into the goodness, touch into the joy, touch into the love that we find within ourselves and that we find in connecting with others. And at the same time, really with compassion and with prudence, keeping that separateness and maybe finding opportunities in this time of separateness to use our enforced solitude to explore more deeply some things that we would like to explore, the Dharma, or writing, or whatever awakens your heart. So do you have any things that you'd like to bring up as questions or as comments about what's going on with you? How are you doing, and what would you like to bring up at this time? We have a few minutes. I'd like to maybe repeat something that I said on Wednesday when I led a sit. Be careful about how much you. I'm practicing this for myself. Be careful about how much we kind of go back and listen to the news or read about the coronavirus. It's keep a balance. We need to know what's happening, and at the same time, we need to stay balanced and find other ways of other things to think about and reflect on. I'd like to also mention that there are some wonderful resources that have come up, and one in particular that I looked at is Dr. Rick Hansen, who's a neuropsychologist, and some of you met him when he came to Montreal a couple of years ago. True North Insight invited him up, and I think it may be on True North Insight's Facebook page that the link to his site, but he set up he made a special podcast and a guided meditation, and so if you Google Dr. Rick Hansen coronavirus, then you can find what he's offered, and he probably will come out with some more things. So there's a question that's just come up. Somebody asking about standing meditation and finding it not helpful to do standing meditation because there's tension in the muscles, and so it's just not necessary to do standing meditation. It's just an option that sometimes when a person has back issues or just other kinds of body issues, that standing meditation can sometimes be helpful. Taking a stance with your feet like about shoulder width apart and so on. Even leaning the back against a wall when you're standing, like to offer a little support, but it's not necessary. Sitting meditation's fine, and lying down is also fine if you don't just drop off to sleep. So sitting and lying down in a way that you stay alert with your eyes open, and sometimes lying down and just having one arm kind of bent at the elbow, with the elbow resting on the floor, but the arm upward. And then you notice if the arm starts to fall, that means you're falling off to sleep. So that helps you stay alert. And then another question about a sense of collective exhaustion and acceptance and grieving. So, I think that is something that is real. It comes up. It comes up in this context. It comes up in other contexts as well. It comes up perhaps around the climate crisis. It can come up around places of war and refugees, that there can just be that sense when we feel connected to the human family and to all beings, we can feel this sense of grief, of collective loss. And I think that that's part of being a living, compassionate being. that those feelings arise. So what we can do is give them space, give them compassionate space, allow them to be felt. I find that my heart breaks every day. That there is a sense of grief and sadness that comes up every day, at least once a day, sometimes more than once a day. And I also know that I can bear that I have the space, the resilience, the capacity to allow that, to be with that. And that if I cut myself off from that, then I'm cutting myself off from my sense of connection to life. And at the same time, as I was talking about before in the beginning, finding balance, also finding that the okayness, the all rightness, the beauty, even the joy of this moment, of just being alive, of being present, being open to the life around me, to the signs of spring, the little tips of hyacinth poking up through the earth. Those things bring joy, and even more importantly, the capacity to rest and be present in the heart, and be present without grasping onto fear and anger, and though that can bring a sense of peace and joy. So we just staying connected to the collective experience, and in a sense having the courage to open the heart with compassion, and at the same time finding balance. So just another comment. So the fear is about what might happen to us in the future. So somebody commented that the fear that arises, so yeah, it is about future. I mean, it's reasonable to also pay attention to how conditions are unfolding, and it doesn't make sense to say that well, because there's only the now, then I don't need to even think about the possibility of how things will unfold in the future. So we need to have that balance of also being living with intelligence, and our capacity as human beings to understand the unfolding nature of events, that conditions come from other conditions, and the coronavirus pandemic is unfolding in a certain way, and we can predict that it probably will peak before it resolves itself, and we're living with a lot of uncertainty, but staying grounded in the present moment, like with our heart, we have a quality of mind, which is a mind heart, which we can come home to, and that keeps us in the present. Whereas with our intelligence, with our conceptual capacities of the mind, we can also understand that things are unfolding in a certain way, and take proper precautions. So that's a way that we keep balance and stay connected in different ways, in different levels, and really our skills in engaging can develop. So, so I'd like to just mention briefly, as we conclude, that of course True North Insight as an organization is um, like many organizations in this time. We've had to cancel events, and you know, perhaps some of our donors now are in financial hardship. So we really need support, and I really encourage you to donate if you can, you know, to your capacity to True North Insight, and as teachers also, as the teachers in this organization. Um, we've had to cancel retreats, and those retreats and these sittings. I have a regular Sunday sitting, and the dana that I receive is an important part of my livelihood. And so, if you have the capacity to contribute something to support me in my teaching and my living, I would be very grateful for that as well. So. So I'm so glad to have had this time with you, and I hope you stay connected to the teachings and the teachers that are appearing throughout the week. And I know that Muriel is posting things on the website, perhaps, and on Facebook, and on the True North Insight Facebook page, and sending out emails. If you're not on our email list, you can join by just making a contact page on our website. So thank you. I really wish you well. Stay happy and stay peaceful and stay healthy. And all my love and good wishes. And bye for now.